Welcome to another edition of Fantasy Football Come True Outtake. You can catch us right here every week on YouTube and any other social media outlet. You can also catch Fantasy Football Come True every week on Tobacco Road Sports Radio. Fantasy Football Come True, that is the show that I am the host of. But here on Fantasy Football Come True Outtake, these guys, B. Foster, Ron Fun, the stars of Outtake, they don't need a host like me. And the reason that they don't is because they don't. That's why. They're going to tell you what the deal is, what's going on with the players this week, where they're putting their money at. So here we go. Fantasy Football Come True Outtake, B. Foster, Ron Fun. We're going to start with you, Ron Fun. Get it going for us, my man.
Hey, again, I know you say we don't need a host, but we appreciate you, man. We appreciate you, bro. And to the fantasy listeners out there, last week we smashed it for y'all. We did it on the cuff. We did it on the fly. Go back and listen. And then also when you go back and listen, actually come back and subscribe to our channel. Make sure you subscribe and tell your friends because, you know, we are in week 14, and I would argue as of week 14, we've hit you with at least 4 to 5 amazing shows where you're like, yo, if you did everything we said, you crushed it. Not just doubled your money, but like you could have been something else. And I'm actually being on the low end on the 4 to 5. And then a couple other weeks, we got you there in the middle range. But like I think we just outperformed our expectations. So with that being said, you know, I just want to thank Brian Foster for just partnering, all of us just partnering together on this, man. And then I'm gonna defer to B. Where you want to go? Because I usually B is really the one that drives it. I just tweak it, and then we get to where we need to be. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, man, co-pilot, man. It's all co-pilots, man. That's all, man. So, man, yeah, man, I enjoyed it as well, man. It's always a good time, man. I appreciate you guys, you know, getting me out here, man. You know, sometimes I need a little nudging, man. You know, I appreciate y'all boys, man. Give me out here to talk a little fantasy football, man. So, man, it's so much I like this week, Bert. So much I like, man. I'll just start with my guy McKissick, man. So he's 4,900. Gibson's not gonna play. I mean, it's not been confirmed yet, but I'm 90% sure Gibson's not gonna play. Alex Smith, we know what Alex Smith's like to do. Alex Smith has actually played well. I can't even hate on Alex Smith. Comeback player of the year, no question about it. But he's been solid for us, man. So we get San Francisco. McKissick should see minimum 6-7 targets, minimum. And if he gets 7 carries as well, we'll take that too. At 4,900, I mean, I think he has a really, really, really high floor. Ceiling may be a little bit questionable. There's so many plays that I like, so I'm debating. But I think he's a good play at only 4,900. What you think about him?
I think he's locked.
Okay.
I think you have to lock him in. I am worried a little bit about San Francisco's defense, but at the same time, I'm not worried given the pricing and the situation. He's going to get all the work. He got 10 targets last week, 10 targets, and he's even though what's his name got hurt early in the game, so you kind of saw what his target share could be. But
against Pittsburgh too.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that makes me feel like San Francisco. I mean, they okay, but they ain't Pittsburgh. You know what I'm saying?
And we have to remember this. The head coach, Ron Rivera, leaned on Norv Turner's son, who got his game from Norv Turner.
Scott.
At the Panthers. And they always, like checking down to the running back, man. So, like, Alex Smith always likes checking down because he's not going to take a lot of risks. He's not going to turn the ball over. So, I think it's a smash spot for him. So, I like that, man.
Yeah. Okay. I'm locking him in, man. I'm locking him in. That's one spot taken up, man.
Yeah. What was I thinking, man? I'm like in a couple games. I'm between these two games. Tennessee and Jacksonville has a lot of fruit to bear. And the Green Bay Detroit game has a lot of fruit to bear.
Yeah, you talking my language right here. I love these two games. Yep.
Yeah. I know I focus on cash games, but the last couple weeks I've been trying to build some tournament lineups. And I'm really thinking that the Tennessee Jacksonville stack is pretty interesting, man, because Jacksonville's not stopping anybody. One. Two, AJ Davis probably won't play tomorrow or this week. So
AJ, who's AJ Davis?
AJ Brown, my bad. AJ Brown. Corey Davis got me all worked up.
I got you. You combine them. I think he's playing though. Only reason I say that he's missed every Thursday practice like the last few weeks.
He didn't play yesterday. He ain't practiced yesterday.
Oh, Wednesday or Thursday?
He ain't practiced Wednesday or Thursday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he did. Did he go down for a minute on Sunday?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
He took a big one.
Oh, if he's out, Corey Davis is a lock of locks. If Brown's out,
Davis got off last week, like in the second half when your boy was hurt. Davis smashed last week.
Man, go listen to last week, folks. Go listen. If you look at this one right now, you need to go look at last week. You can stop this one. You need to go right now and look at last week. You want to hear about Corey Davis. Everybody was on AJ Brown, but guess who was on Corey Davis? Okay, you can keep going.
Yeah, and he smashed last week. Yeah, I fundamentally feel if AJ Brown is hurt tomorrow or this week, you go with Davis stacked with a couple people from that game. You can stack it back with Robinson from the other side. Because Jacksonville don't have nobody, no threats other than Robinson. He's a little banged up, but GPP anyway don't cost you much to be wrong, you know.
Yeah. He should be all right though. I think he'll be straight. Don't sleep on the kid, Colin Johnson, 3,600 Jacksonville. If I was gonna play a receiver to bring it back with, you remember we talked about when the backup quarterback comes in, he tends to target the backup receiver.
Yes.
That backup receiver to pass. The games that Mike Glenn has played, what's Mike Glenn has played? The last 2 or 3 weeks? 2 weeks? Look at Johnson's number the past 2 weeks.
Okay. I like that. I mean, repeat that for the listeners, B, because we've been on that logic for at least 2 years.
Yeah.
Hit that logic one more time for people.
Yeah, you put me onto that, man. So, when QB1 is healthy, he's getting 100% of the reps in practice. 100%. Like there ain't no, let's bring in and back up for a little while. Like it's the ones with the ones. Like, so then you got the practice squad guys. You got the backup quarterback. He over here working on the side. He throwing to, the 4th and 5th receivers. So the backup quarterback, if QB1 gets hurt, the backup quarterback comes in. He's gonna throw to who he's familiar with, who he's got timing with, who he knows. Okay, when he makes a little nudge here, I know he likes to do this, or I know he likes it to get it right on his left shoulder, or you know what I'm saying. They just have chemistry together. Like that's really important. So when you have a backup quarterback coming in, and as you get late on in the season, you see this because you have a lot of injuries. So you get these backup quarterbacks coming in, you get these backup receivers coming in, and you're like, man, why he's not feeding the number 1 guy? He's not feeding the number 2 guy. That's because he ain't got no chemistry there. He ain't played with them boys. You know what I'm saying? So we're seeing that play out with Mike Glennon and this kid Colin Johnson. Last week, Jags drove down the field, tied the game up. They needed a 2-point conversion to send the game to overtime. Guess who Glennon went to? You already know.
Yeah, we've been on that lot. for a while, and I will be honest, I haven't heard that logic from a lot of other sites. I'm
Yeah.
just paid sites where you listen to different people in this game. I haven't heard them, man. I haven't heard them mention that.
Mhm.
Much respect to these other guys. Much respect to Adam Levitan. Much respect to Al Smizzle. Much respect. But I'm just saying, man, I ain't heard that from y'all. And I ain't disrespecting. In fact, I actually would love to interview y'all, man, because I'd like to we should try to get them, interview them one day. Me, you, just get them online and just interview them because they are good at what they do.
Yeah, definitely.
It'd just be fun to interview them. But
Don't call them out though. Don't call them out.
I'm not calling them out in a bad way. I'm calling them out to say,
I got you. What you
it wasn't no disrespect with my call.
I got you. I got you. We know. If y'all don't know, Ron Fund confidence level is on 100,000 trillion at times. So we got a lot of historic events that we could tell you about another day on a different. That's a different show that we could tell you about this guy, his confidence, man. But so one of the big questions from this game for me, man, is we talk about this all the time with Tennessee. Is it a Henry game or is it a Tannehill game? Is it a both of them game? Like, what are we doing here? We got it right last week.
We faded him last week.
Mm-hmm.
Faded him outright.
Yep.
I honestly think, given that Henry got faded so hard last week and couldn't play, and rested up a little bit probably because he didn't play, I think you have some lineups with Henry this week.
So Henry, he played Jacksonville early in the year. Week 2, I believe.
Yeah. And only got 8 points.
Only got 8 points. That's when everybody and their mama played him, and Tannehill threw 4 touches. I mean, maybe everybody sees that and they think that's the same thing's gonna happen again. Is that gonna happen again? I don't know. I do know the quarterbacks have eaten against the Jags more than running backs have, and wide receivers have. I do know if the game didn't go into overtime last week, all these people who played Dalvin Cook would have lost all that money because Dalvin Cook only had 18, 19 points, if that, at the end of regulation. He got his points in overtime. It kind of put him over. I'm not trying to tout the Jags here, but I'll just say their run defense is way better than their pass defense.
That's fair. Because looking at this, they've only given up 20 points on average to running backs total throughout the season. That's with good guys and bad guys in there. So,
they're bad against both. You know what I mean? But it's not a word, of course. They're more bad against quarterbacks. Yeah. But I think they're both in play this week. Both in play. Again,
for a GPP play, if you get Davis with Tannehill, a cheap wide receiver with a cheap quarterback, man, that could be a reasonably priced quarterback. That could be interesting.
Yeah. So my other dilemma, same setup. The other game you talked about. Oh, first of all, you finished with this game, Tennessee Jacksonville?
Yeah. Any other? I think it's just a fertile ground. There's no right play for GPPs. So listeners, I'm not giving you a playbook today. There's no right way for playbook. Cash games there is. You can go either way you want to in a cash game too, but we're not giving you a cash game answer today. So I just think there's a play to stack this and make a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
That's all. But yeah, I'm finished with that game.
So the other game you talked about, I got the same problem. Detroit's the worst team in the league against running backs. Prove it over and over again every week. So I got Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones ran for like 160. the first time, and three touches or something silly the first time they played. Now Devontae Adams did lead the game early that week. That's when he pulled his hamstring, left the game early. But Detroit's terrible against running backs. Aaron Jones 7,600. But man, I can't ignore Devontae Adams, what he's done this year. Like Devontae Adams is what Michael Thomas was last year. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And I can't ignore that he's still, like I said, if he's not 10K, he's too cheap. He's 93. Like, so where do I go there? I don't know.
I think here's your answer. Are there enough cheap running backs to fill up your cash line first that you're comfortable with? And if so, then you got money to spend up for Devontae, because you already started with McKissick as a lock.
Mm-hmm.
McKissick's pretty cheap, so that means you only max. You got 2 more running backs.
Mm-hmm.
So I say finish building out your running back squad, and then based on that, if there's no room for Jones because if somebody else is in a better smash spot, then I say you go with Devontae Adams by default then, which I'm actually leaning towards that construction because, okay, I'm going with the geriatric clinic possibly this week as one of my cheap running backs.
Oh man!
Think of that.
Wow. Okay. Swift ain't coming back this week.
He might be coming back. I'm just saying. I am scared of the fact that Detroit can get so far behind that they just can't run the ball no more.
Mm-hmm.
I'm considering that as a play, but I just want you to know that is something I am considering.
Are we talking about cash or tournaments right here?
This will definitely be a tournament play, possibly cash, but
okay.
But I say Montgomery is in a nice. Let's be real. Let me be a little bit more real for your fantasy listeners. Montgomery is in another smash spot going against Houston with the backup quarterback of Trubisky.
Is he too expensive now?
6,500 is pretty cheap still for a running back.
Okay.
Mike Davis is 6,400. Again, we just talked about the fact that you don't have Carolina Panthers may not have any body plan for them other than Mike Davis and Robbie Anderson.
So I'm gonna let you finish, but don't let. I want to come back to Panthers and Broncos. But go ahead. I'm gonna let you finish.
Jonathan Taylor is still cheap.
Mm-hmm. I like Jonathan Taylor. Scares me a little bit, but I like him.
And I know Wayne Gallman got 16 points last week, no touchdowns. But he should have gotten a touchdown because he got vultured twice last week. Like, what I'm basically trying to say is, this really goes back to your question on what to do about Jones. I'm letting you know that there are probably enough cheaper guys that can get you the equivalent output as Aaron Jones at 7,600, such that you may lean towards Devontae Adams. But if you don't believe that's the case, then you go with Aaron Jones because he should smash it.
So I do think there's other running back plays that are viable that I could feel that slot with. Full disclosure, last week I did not play David Montgomery. And we talked about that. Should I play him? I didn't like. I thought it was an okay play. I didn't think it was a smash play because I just don't think he's good. But we all knew for a fact that most of the field was going to have David Montgomery. And we talked about should we play him just based on an ownership perspective. I think that's the setup for Aaron Jones this week. Just FYI. So, yeah, I could fade him. I have better. I mean, not better. I have, some other solid options there, but I can almost guarantee half of the field, if not more, is going to roster Aaron Jones this week.
So does that mean you're contrarian to the field, or you want to?
I don't know. Last week I tried to be contrarian to the field and I was wrong, but I mean, I'm not going to be wrong every time, but
Yeah.
I don't know what this one I actually agree with the field. Last week I didn't agree with the field. This week I agree with the field. But I also let me ask you this: can I play them both?
You might can play them both.
I can fit them both. Fitting them ain't a problem. I got a 55-point total. Green Bay's implied to score 31. Of that 31 points, that's 4 touchdowns and a field goal. I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he spreads it around a little bit, but if they're going to score 4 touchdowns, I can almost guarantee that Aaron Jones is getting one and Devontae Adams is getting one. And that's probably enough for both of them to get there. If I say Aaron Jones is going to give me 100 on the ground and a touch, and I'm going to say Devontae going to give me 100 in the air and a touch, throw in a couple catches for Aaron Jones, 8 to 10 catches for Devontae, I'm there.
I got to disagree with you, man. 16,000. That's $18,000, right?
Mm-hmm. That's
16 times 3, 4. We really need 4 for that production. You gonna get that many points out of both?
The higher the number, you only need 3. The higher number you get, you only need 3. You know what I'm saying? Okay, talk to me.
I'm just not my cheap guys. I'm not confident they get 3 and 4 times every time. So I still need enough production out of those guys. I'm just saying, there's enough cheaper guys. Look, I'll give you one more cheap guy, okay? Running back. I told you Carolina Panthers ain't got no offensive production this week. And they ain't got no defense. So they're going to be on the field and off the field real fast. And they're going against Broncos. Look at your boy. Look at the running back for them. What's his name?
Melvin Gordon?
Gordon. Look at Gordon. Gordon could smash on the Panthers. And he's 5,200.
Panthers quietly been better against the run recently. Just a FYI, they're not the same. They've gotten better defensively.
But this price point and the fact that Philip Lindsay ain't getting no work last week.
Nah, look again, bro.
He ain't.
They both got 15 carries. They both got 15 carries.
Lindsay just didn't do nothing with his carry.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
The reason I said I want to come back to this game, I like this game as a kind of a secondary stack without using the quarterback. So I like Tim Patrick is only 42. I like you said, whichever these receivers for Panthers is left standing, I like them. So I like getting some of that kind of action. Like Tim Patrick 42, I like if you want to go Judy or Hamler. Like I like all those wide receivers are cheap. And I think they could play well.
Okay.
Bring it back with somebody on Carolina. But I mean, so I like the guys you mentioned running back. I didn't hear you mention Myles Gaskin, who's 56, I believe.
What do you think?
And he's playing the Chiefs.
He's gotten 15 points at least every time he's played. His floor is against the Rams. He had 14 points.
So that's somebody I like.
That's strong.
The other guy, he's a little bit more expensive. What do you feel about Chris Carson? If you telling me that Seattle gonna smash them,
I like that.
why wouldn't I be looking at Chris Carson?
I like that. I think he should get work.
Jets are another one of these. So the Jaguars and the Jets are two teams that week after week people have attacked them on the ground. When I say people, I'm talking about the public. I'm talking about people playing DraftKings. They've attacked them using running backs. And time after time, people have been wrong. It's been the quarterback that you've wanted in these matchups.
Yes.
I go back to when the Chiefs played the Jets and everybody was on CEH. And that's when Mahomes threw 5 touchdowns. I look at last week, a lot of people played Dalvin Cook, which he did end up coming through. But if you would have had Cousins with Jefferson and Thielen, you was in good shape. So I know Russ has been people off Russ because he had a couple bad games in a row. Now I wouldn't go there in cash, but I think Russ is a strong GPP play this week.
I wouldn't disagree. I like Carson. I like Russ. I like Carson better than Russ, to be honest with you. If you can pick the player that Russ gonna throw the ball to, you get Carson, or put Carson and Russ together. I know people don't like the quarterback running back together thing. I like that as a hedge. I'm okay with it.
But I think that's more of a cash play when you do that.
Yes.
Because in GPP you want ceiling, and I think you lose a little ceiling with that combination. But I'm okay with Carson because he's caught a lot of passes and like touchdown passes. Like they throwed it to him in the red zone. Same thing with Aaron Jones and Aaron Rodgers.
That's real. That's real. And avoid Sanders for the Philadelphia Eagles. Actually, I got a better question for you.
Okay.
Getting a little long now. I got a better question. We got a lot of questions today. Minnesota can't really stop anybody.
Mm-hmm.
What are you doing in Tampa Bay game? Because they have offensive power.
So I don't know if you saw Mike Evans miss practice today.
Okay.
If Mike Evans doesn't play, I'm locking another player, and that's Chris Godwin.
Locking him in.
Yeah. If Mike Evans doesn't play. Even if Mike Evans plays, Chris Godwin is a heavy consideration for me.
Okay. He's coming in at 6,300, which is really cheap for Godwin, especially if he's going to be the number one guy.
Even how much is Antonio Brown?
Brown is 5,500.
Okay.
I probably rather Godwin.
You rather Brown?
Godwin.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I would too. I rather Godwin too. But if that'll be a nice little cheap stack though. If he is out, then I can get Brown, Godwin, and Brady.
So, okay, for the Cook people that like Cook, is this the week? Sit him this week, right?
I can't fool with him.
Because of why? Tell everybody why.
He's the most expensive player on the slate at 9,500. Playing against the Bucks, one of the best run defenses in the league. Let's see where they rank against running backs. They're the third worst matchup for running backs in the league. Most time you play them, you got to pass. And I think Dalvin Cook can catch. He's gonna catch some balls out of the backfield, but he's not gonna pay off that 9,500 price tag. The Bucks coming off a bye. I believe they lost before the bye.
Yeah.
Yeah, them boys coming out ready to play. Nah, I can't fool with 9,500 Dalvin Cook.
So the people that won last week because of Dalvin Cook going in overtime, they might go back to the cookie jar one more time, and they gonna lose this week. That's the biggest contrarian play we giving y'all out here, y'all. I don't even think it's that contrarian. It's just how we think what's gonna happen, but that's just the truth.
I know. Like you said, we're getting long. What you doing with Tyreek Hill, yo? The guy's been ridiculous.
Oh man,
he
has. He's 8,500 though.
He is.
He's 8,500, man. I ain't gonna lie, man. I just like Devontae Adams so much.
I agree.
About that price point, I'm willing to just pay up.
Okay. I'm just checking. Just make sure I don't. Okay. And one more. Julio is 66, yo. 66, yo.
Disrespectful to that man.
Disrespectful. He was fully healthy last week. He had 6 for 94. 6 for 94. 10 targets. Just missed the game time or game winning. What did they lose by? 5-6. Game winning touchdown pass went to him. Couldn't quite bring it in. Matt Ryan loves him. Chargers don't scare me. I mean, if he's healthy, it's a lot of good receivers on this slate, dog. It's a lot. If he's healthy, 66. In a game I expect to be high scoring with Herbert going to work out there.
Yeah. But then you can't afford those other guys you just mentioned earlier. You get all those guys. You got to go cheap somewhere. So where you going cheap at? You going cheap at wide receiver or you going cheap at running back?
Might go running back, man.
So you can't go with Aaron Jones.
I got you. You're probably right. You're probably right.
But man, this has been a good one too, man. We ain't really hammered in on them. Actually, let me ask one more.
It's a lot of good plays, man. It's a lot of good plays this week.
I'm gonna ask one more. I'm gonna tell you who's getting almost disrespectfully low again. Kamara. When does his value jump back to the roof? Is it too early?
When Drew Brees come back, I can't fool with him with your boy, yo. And they playing Philly, man. Your boy steals too many like goal line rushes and like because he runs, he don't check down. He like, I'm not checking down, I just run. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I need the Kamara that getting 10 targets. He getting 3, 2, 1 with Taysom Hill. I can't. Come on, man. Nah. Yeah. Go back to Breeze, 8, 6, 13, 8, 10. That's what I need. Like, I can't do the 1, 2, and 3.
Okay. So does that mean Taysom Hill makes your quarterback list this week?
He's been good. He's been good. What is he?
66.
66. I think I'd rather Herbert at 68.
There it is.
I that's enough. Like, Matt Ryan's been real bad, Joe. But at 57 against the Chargers, I think about it. Trubisky gets Houston. He only had 14 last week. So you really got to have 20 for your quarterback these days. You can't not get 20. No matter the price. He got to get you 20.
Yeah.
Andy Dalton 55.
Taysom Hill.
Taysom Hill's your guy?
Taysom Hill makes the cut, man. He makes the cut.
You want to pay $100 more and get Tannehill?
I can see why somebody would pay 100 more and get 10 Hill. I could do that. I'm just saying he makes the cut. He makes the cut. That's all.
He's an option. He's an option.
He's an option.
Okay.
If you get down to $100, I ain't gonna be mad either direction you take.
Okay.
But look, this one has been super freestyle for y'all at home. We hit on more random things than we probably want to, but I believe that all of our random stuff has been solid. And we'll time will tell next week. What you got? Anything else?
Yeah. Nah. Time will tell. Check back. Check back and see how right we are.
No doubt. Well, I have no doubt that y'all are hitting it on the head, and you're hitting it and running on all cylinders. And I'm sure the listeners out there, they heard it. I'm sure they're going to take heed to it. They know that Tennessee and Jacksonville game has some diamonds in it. They also know that Green Bay Detroit game has some beautiful jewels in it as well. So that was B. Foster and Ron Fun, listeners, giving you what they do right here on Fantasy Football Come True Outtake. And make sure that you catch our full 30-minute show every Saturday at 9:30 a.m. This is the show that puts money in your pocket. Fantasy Football Come True Outtake. Y'all be good. Holla.